something changed with the TikTok meta. This is something that I do admit. A lot of people don't realize that like TikTok elevated Charlie Kirk to a real audience. TikTok put him in front of real human beings and real young people. And it worked so perfectly alongside the Trump movement. I think you're muted. No, I muted myself for a second because my dad is trying to talk to me because he wants me to order food. Or rather, I ordered food already for him, but there's been an issue. What is this drone footage showing how far it was? Drone footage of UVU crime scene where Charlie Kirk was assassinated today. Footage provides an overhead breakdown showing the location of Charlie Kirk's tent was positioned in the route he took to flee after the attack. Do I think they're not being caught yet makes the administration look bad? Yes. But do I also believe that Republicans, I think, kind of enjoy that there is no evidence so they can just make up whatever the fuck they want to? Also, yes. So I think on the one hand, yes, this is a pathetic and incompetent administration that can't even figure out the assassin, who the assassin is of a beloved figure by their own estimations, not mine, right? So it certainly reflects poorly on them that they are so incompetent that they can't even figure this out with all of the surveillance that they have at their disposal. But having said that, I think this yields a new opportunity for the admin, and therefore they could just basically say the shooter is anyone and everyone that's ever hurt their feelings. That's it. So in that vein, like, they get to continue entertaining their delusions. They get to run around and posture. You showed this clip of Charlie, right? Yeah, I did.
Shows they were actually better in the 1940s.
Yeah, he said black people are better off in slavery and better off in the 1940s than they were after the civil rights movement. Another view from the Reuters drone. Reuters drone image shows reported location from which the shooter killed Charlie Kirk. Wait, what? Oh, I guess that's it. That's not a really difficult shot, I think. Okay. The difficulties of this shot is establishing a shot position that allows you to be at an elevated perspective without other people actually finding you out and you know, reporting you to the authorities. The difficulties there are you know, pulling the trigger on a human being, okay? Like, it's not something that you can do without having sufficient training. It's not, I don't think it's that easy. There's a reason why when you go out and like hunt deer for the first time ever, like, you get the yips. You have a hard time. Like, ending life, ending organic matter is not an easy endeavor. And it's especially difficult when it's a human being. Well, yeah, if you're perched up, I would go so far as to say the easiest version of the shot would be being perched up at a hunting stand, okay? And then having a deer off in the same distance. But the first time you take that shot, that's still going to be difficult. The second time you take that shot, that's going to be less difficult. But it's obviously not going to be easy to take that shot if there's a human being on the other side of your scopes, okay? And it's especially difficult when all of the other pressures of the environment are factored in to the decision making at the time, and then you are able to make a swift escape. Okay, that to me reveals that. Wait, hold on. That to me reveals that this person might have had some experience at least, like, because I just don't think you have a situation. I don't think you have a situation where someone's like first ever shot on a human is a one shot, like clean one shot straight to artery, the main artery. And then you just make a swift escape. Like, that's it. He didn't even shoot a couple times or anything like that. It's just crazy. That wasn't clean. That was a miss. I keep seeing the end of the clip, the end of your debate with Charlie posted on Instagram. I'm sure you know, but it's a 53-minute mark. Yeah. Yes, I debated Charlie Kirk twice, not once, but twice. And that's where the famous I live like a capitalist everyday jank clip comes from. That caliber drops 4 inches at that range. Maybe he was aiming for the head. The shot went off his chest and ricocheted into his neck. He was wearing a vest, and this will be proven. That's what I heard. But that sounds pretty crazy. Because remember, it's not a joke. No, I know. Remember when I looked at the first shot from afar and I told you that like it didn't seem like he got shot in the neck at first because his t-shirt moved around. Like that didn't actually make any sense. That didn't actually make any sense as if it was like a direct shot. And I guess I thought it was like maybe the impact, but I don't know. I don't know enough about like the only reason why I don't believe it's a vest though, because I have heard this before. The only reason why I don't believe it's a vest is because there's no armor that is that concealable under just like a straight t-shirt. I'm pretty sure it would show. Like, and an armor that is like soft padded armor that is concealable under a shirt would probably not ricochet a bullet like that. At most, it would probably soften the impact. Nah, he would have had ceramic which shatters. So I don't understand why. Like, I don't think armor ricochets a bullet, right? Doesn't Kevlar and ceramic, they just soften the impact basically. They just like eat the bullet. It doesn't like it doesn't end up ricocheting it, right? I always thought that it just like gets lodged in. The entry to the neck was very clean too. I don't think it was a bounce. That's if that's possible. Kevlar is a shock absorber. Yeah. Obviously, if armor was to deflect the impact instead of absorbing it, no one would use it because I feel like it would. I'm not a ballistics expert. I'm not an armor expert, but I'm simply stating that if a bullet were to immediately deflect off of an armor, I feel like it would be ill-advised to use in the field of battle or ever, as a matter of fact, because of what technically, if that was the case, happened to Charlie Kirk. Steel does at glazing angles, but most armor has aramid layers that can catch it sometimes. You need steel or ceramic. But I watched a lot of GunTube. You were right. It would make a huge bulge on the armor if it was ceramic. It's the same thing, but ceramic is really thick. Yeah. It's called spaling, which is an issue with steel plates. It's an issue that fragments go into your neck. Oh, so you think he got shot in the vest, and then the vest actually ricocheted directly into his neck, and the neck wound that you see is actually a consequence of the ricochet potentially. Mapping the Charlie Kirk. What the fuck is Hoog?
Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. Charlie Kirk speaks.
That's crazy, bro. This dude's body hasn't even been buried yet, and there's already a 9-minute YouTube video.
At an event in Orem, Utah. It is at the Sorensen Center courtyard on the campus of Utah Valley University. The event, part of his American Comeback Tour, features his signature Prove Me Wrong debate format. Kirk is positioned at a table beneath a large tent. Students come up and have a chance to ask him a question and debate with him. Approximately 20 minutes into his presentation, an audience member identified as a student questions him about mass shootings.
Do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass over the last 10 years?
Too many.
Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Kirk asks a question, but then it gets interrupted.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Oh my God.
Cody, go, run.
When Charlie is 18 years old, he speaks at a college. He just seems like any other young American conservative. But at that college, he catches someone's eye. Will Montgomery sees that Charlie gets attention. While other conservative speakers are boring, young people listen to Charlie Kirk. A month later, in September 2012, he and the 18-year-old launched Turning Point USA.
What Turning Point USA stands.
So before he did that, the OG is that he didn't, before he even got invited as a speaker, real ones know, real Charlie heads know, his starting point is actually writing an article for his high school newspaper about how potentially a black woman took his slot at West Point Academy. Okay? This is an admonishment of just a straight rejection of DEI before it became known as DEI, but like affirmative, what am I saying? Affirmative action, right? He attacks affirmative action in a hypothetical racialized grievance. Okay, he wrote that when he was 18 years old, and of course he had no proof for this, but it didn't matter. And Breitbart took that and posted it, and then as soon as Breitbart posted it, he became a conservative fixture. Like very quickly, he was plucked out. And he became one of those like young conservatives, you know, because they were like, oh, he's just the kind of racist that we need, but he's also young. Important context, before that, there really weren't any young conservatives. No, that's not true. There's always been young conservatives. Breitbart, for the record, is an outlet that is like super far right. Andrew Breitbart's operation. But I mention this because it just shows you how easy it is to become like a known figure and what it takes for someone to be plucked up as a commentary person.
For what we're trying to do is we're going into the high schools and the colleges to challenge these textbooks that publish flat out falsehoods and fallacies.
It's a nonprofit organization established to promote conservative values, specifically among young Americans through high school and college.
Also, bro, look at the young people after. Oh my God, Tom McDonald made a Rest in Peace Charlie music video. That's crazy. That's disrespectful. That's more disrespectful than anything any like leftist could ever say about Charlie Kirk, in my opinion. Tom McDonald making a music video post-mortem to honor you is unironically the most disrespectful thing you can do to any human being.
College campuses.
I'm only 19 years old. I'm fighting this fight every single day. I get to go to college campuses, high schools. I debate professors. I debate socialists.
It's not an immediate success, but Turning Point steadily grows into something larger than Charlie.
We'll probably recruit 4,000 to 5,000 new students, collect their data. It's a high energy conference for us.
Yeah. So when Turning Point USA, play it, bro, please. No, I'm not gonna play Tom McDonald. Are you kidding me? I don't want you guys to die out of cringe, maximum cringe. When Turning Point first comes into the fold, Charlie Kirk goes to Foster Freeze. His dad knows him, I think, through construction work, and Foster Freeze is a major conservative donor, right? So he gets audience with Foster Freeze, and he pitches to him an idea. This idea is, you know how they have super PACs that manipulate elections? I want to create a super PAC fund to manipulate student government body elections, both in high school and also in college. Okay? He says these are breeding grounds for left-wing radicalism. High schools and college campuses are breeding grounds for socialism and many different woke ideology that is an ever-present danger. The next generation is becoming right-wing. And that's how it starts. And for the longest time, it is an abject failure, okay?
It's a way to reward our best members that have been...
They organize speeches with ever bigger conservative American thinkers. The young Charlie Kirk quickly becomes a fixture of the American political conservative landscape.
I started an organization, Turning Point USA, 2.5 years ago, around two key values: free markets and limited government.
In 2016, he speaks at the Republican National Convention. When Trump secures the Republican nomination, he and Turning Point embrace the MAGA movement. Charlie Kirk gets a direct line to the president.
Yeah, in 2015, he was anti-Trump. 2016, he very quickly, once Trump wins the primaries, he's like, I'm pro-Trump all the way.
At the same time...
But again, at this point, he's not drawing crowds, okay? At most, it's like YAF, Young Americans for Freedom, right? Like, at most, it's like another... At most, it is yet another young college Republican advocacy group. It obviously has a lot of moneyed interest involved. It has a lot of donors involved from right-wing alumnus. But having said that, it's not actually making significant impact amongst the youth. And it's more so just like an operation to get money from... farm money from wealthy Republican old donors and basically lie to them that you're making an impact among the youth.
He begins using modern media outlets as a way to spread his political message, but they're also a means for generating content that gets attention. He gets millions of views, in large part fueled by debates on college campuses. In 2018 comes Campus Clash, a college tour with Candace Owens. In 2024, the You're Being Brainwashed tour, a college tour with former presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. On September 10th, 2025, Kirk initiates the...
Like, the big jump off here goes from... Like, what gained Charlie Kirk like a real young audience? Because I remember covering this stuff back in the day. There was a demographic profile of like his marketing initiatives. I don't know if I can actually find it, but there was a demographic profile of like who Charlie Kirk was targeting on Facebook with Turning Point USA. And I remember laughing about it because it was all like 50 plus, 60 plus year olds that they were farming ads out to. So like their entire audience was comprised of like old people. So it was just old people giving Charlie Kirk money with the hopes that they were actually reaching out to a younger audience, but only reaching out to an older audience that just wanted to see a young person say these things. But something changed with the TikTok meta. This is something that I do admit. A lot of people don't realize that like TikTok elevated Charlie Kirk to a real audience. TikTok put him in front of real human beings and real young people. And it worked so perfectly alongside the Trump movement the second time around. Okay? That's when he actually started seeing like mass audiences show up to these events that he was putting together. And it wasn't just like the Trump Republicans at college.
American Comeback Tour, a series of events for college students across the United States. The format includes his classic Prove Me Wrong table sessions, where he invites attendees to debate his political and cultural viewpoints in a public setting. The event at Utah Valley University is designated as the first stop on this tour. Eyewitness accounts describe hearing a loud bang.
Go down and see get closer, are they like restricting you guys up here or what?
Nah, it's too crowded.
It's just, there's just so much.
Before we had a flag and we had it so it's positioned above the tent, it just moved.
What was that? God! He just got shot! Holy shit! Holy shit!
Immediately following the sound,
he doesn't actually
Charlie Kirk's
show,
head
right?
Jerks backwards. A significant volume of blood gushes from his neck. Although an autopsy is yet to be released, speculations state he is hit partially in his jugular and spine. Phone footage shows that audience members react to the noise instinctively, collectively looking to the right and then crouching down. People scatter in multiple directions.
Yeah, in 2016, Charlie Kirk was used to convince old Republicans they had the support of the youth when they were with Bernie. In 2024, liberal Gen Z people are used to convince old people that they, Dems, have the support of the youth when they are with Charlie Kirk. How the turntables? That is exactly right. And that is the reason why I was thinking about, how Turning Point USA initially was just an abject failure. And the comparison was... The comparison was with the modern version of exactly that. Also, anyway, let's continue.
His security personnel and multiple police officers cover him and try to bring him away to surrounding vehicles as soon as possible. Through phone recordings later released on Twitter, a figure is identified on the roof of the Losey Center.
So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying? He just ran from over, where's my finger? Whoa. From over there, ran in. Now he's right there. Just saying.
A building located approximately 200 yards or 180 meters from Kirk's position. It seems the shooter is lying in a prone position, shooting down with a clear view of his target. This individual is observed both prior to and following the shot, and is seen retreating from the rooftop. Based on these videos, the is placed at a more accurate guesstimation of 100 to 120 meters from where Kirk is sitting. Presumably, the escapes over the roof of the building after taking the shot. Charlie Kirk is carried to a police vehicle, parked just behind the tent where he is speaking from. He's then transported to the local Timpanogos Regional Hospital. Initial reports indicate his condition is critical. Utah Valley University spokeswoman Ellen Trainor states that a suspect is in custody, and it's not a student.
Dare you! How dare you! How dare you! How dare you! How dare you!
Political figures begin to issue statements. President Donald Trump posts on Truth Social, calling for prayers for Charlie Kirk. Vice President J.D. Vance also expresses calls for prayer. Utah Governor Spencer Cox condemns the violence, as does California Governor Gavin Newsom and many other prominent political figures. At 2:26 MDT, FBI Director Kash Patel also announces on social media that a suspect in the shooting is in custody.
Now, we have a person of interest in custody.
But only a couple of hours later, all statements are retracted. Cox clarifies that George Zinn, the individual initially detained, is not the assassin, but has been charged with obstruction of justice. A second suspect is also...
They found the identity of the just now? I don't think they did yet. Chibi Reviews tweeted about you 25 minutes ago. Please check it out. This guy is spreading lies and hate throughout his audience.
also arrested, but later released. As of right now, the authorities state their investigation continues. At around 2:40 MDT, Charlie Kirk's death is finally confirmed. President Donald Trump announces it on Truth Social. He is survived by his wife, daughter, and son.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah.
The cause of death is confirmed as a gunshot wound to the neck. No further suspects have been taken into custody as of September 11th at the time of this upload. President Trump orders all American flags to be lowered to half-staff.